What happens when a senior engineer and a new engineer answer the same interview questions? I don't know. Stay tuned and find out. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. You guys know me, I'm Scott Moss, and over here, I got my friend Kaelyn. Kaelyn, introduce yourself for a little bit.
Hey, my name is Kaelyn. I'm a new engineer working at a company called Fly as a software engineer. Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Are you excited or are you nervous? You seem a little nervous.
Both. I don't know what kind of questions you're about to ask me, so.
I made the questions fair. They're going to be ranging from, questions I think we both can answer, all the way to questions I know for sure you probably don't know the answer to. We'll see. We'll see what I'm cooking up. So I don't know. Let's get into it.
What are the primitive data types in JavaScript?
That's a good question. I would say the primitive types in JavaScript would be, so you have an object, right? You have a string, you have integers.
What if it's a decimal?
That still works, right?
Well, integers are whole numbers.
True. All right, well then a number.
Okay.
You have a number.
Okay.
You have null, you have undefined, and you have a boolean.
Okay. Look at that. I think as a senior engineer over here, the way that I would answer that would be honestly the exact same thing he said, but there is one more type built into JavaScript now that a lot of people might not know of, and it's called a symbol. So, just a little bit of extra on there, for the folks out there. Yeah, a symbol is the other type. So, that's the only difference.
Describe the event loop.
You want to take that one?
Yeah, you go
You
ahead
want me to
and take
take
that
it?
one.
Okay. The event loop in JavaScript. Well, JavaScript is one of the few languages that is single-threaded, as in it can only operate in one, you could think of execution silo, if you will. Most other languages can execute in parallel silos depending on the hardware on your computer, but JavaScript executes in one. But there are times where you have to do things in the background. So there's this thing called an event loop, which basically is just a place where you can register things that are happening in the future, and which JavaScript can then process when it's done doing all the things that it needs to do.
I thought you said these were going to progressively get worse.
They are.
What is a virtual DOM?
Oh man, I would say virtual DOM, like I believe React has a virtual DOM.
Facts.
And I would say that React creates a virtual DOM and holds on to it so that if you make a change, it then only has to change that specific thing instead of having to recreate the entire DOM all over again.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. The way I think of a virtual DOM is just like a lightweight version of the real DOM. If the DOM was written in JSON or JavaScript, that's what a virtual DOM would be. It's just a place where you can operate on, instead of operating on the DOM, which might be slow, because if you do, changes actually happen on the screen, you can operate on the virtual DOM, which allows you to patch changes or batch them. So when you apply them to the real DOM, they're just more performant.
What is a module?
I would describe a module as that's a good question. A module is something you can install, right? Like, hold on.
Oh my God.
I don't know what a module is. Hold on.
No. What is this? Guess. Oh, you had to make a module. Like, what is it?
It's like a method. Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
For some reason, I'm drawing a blank.
I guess modules are actually tough if you think about them, but the way I think of modules are just like encapsulated pieces of code.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's just like you can think of them as like Lego blocks, but you can also make modules and share them with the world. That's not affected by any other code, and typically, if written a certain way, can be published and shared to other people.
What is TyPESCRIPT?
It's just JavaScript with types.
But what's a type?
A type would be to describe a certain value. So yeah, that's what I say a type is.
Wow, that's pretty good. TypeScript is a language that sits on top of JavaScript. By default, JavaScript is a dynamically typed language. So what does that mean? Well, it tries to figure out the different types of values. Is this a string? Is this a number? Is this an object? on the fly without you telling it. It tries to infer it. But TypeScript allows you, the developer, to tell the compiler what type something is. So why would you want that? Well, you just get better tooling when you're writing code. So in your editor, you get those little red squigglies from your linter when you try to pass an object to a function that wants a string, because TypeScript knows that this should be a string and not an object. Whereas with regular JavaScript, you don't get that until you execute the code and find a bug later. So that's TypeScript.
What is a load balancer?
Oh, you gotta know this one. You literally work at a company literally,
I think you're giving me too much credit.
Works with load balancers.
I work at a company that might have that or use it, but doesn't. I'm still new. If I were to take the word for itself, load balancer is the ability to manage the load of said code or everything that gets bundled up.
Okay, so a load balancer is something that sits on the network layer. We're talking what happens when your iOS app or your front-end app tries to make a request to your server to get to your database. Well, what if you have 1 million requests per second? Well, a load balancer will sit right in front of your server, and what it will do is it'll start directing traffic to different instances of your server and your database, so not one server gets all the traffic. It balances the load.
What is your process on getting unstuck?
That's a good question.
We all been there.
The $1 million question.
Some of y'all stuck right now.
I'm stuck right now. I would say going through what you have written so far, the code that you have written, and actually thinking to yourself, do I actually know what's going on?
And what it will do is it'll start directing traffic.
And if not, then maybe you need to go back through and you know, go line by line and see what it is that you don't understand. But outside of that, I would also say being good at using Google and searching up whether it's an error that you got in the browser or on the terminal. Yeah, and or being able to, I think, know how to operate Stack Overflow as well, because that's a whole other topic.
I hear no lies. I hear no lies. I think for me, my process is like just trying not to have to deal with it in the first place. So typically what I'll do is when I'm stuck is I'll just go ask someone else. I'm like, hey, you've done this before, like fix this thing. But if I can't do that, it's more like I'm trying to figure out more context. So the first thing is like, do I even understand what it is that I'm trying to achieve? I get into research mode. I'm just like, okay, I'm having this bug or I'm having this issue. Let me just hop on the Googles right quick to see if a lot of other people or even a few amount of people are having the same issue. Maybe one of these packages are outdated. Maybe, I don't know, there's something going on that I'm just not aware of. So I try to just do all that. And if I'm still stuck, I'll just go take a walk. I don't know, I'll grab some coconut water, some snacks. I'll just go take a walk and I'll come back to it later and repeat the process until I'm not stuck anymore.
Why did you become a software engineer?
I would say I became a software engineer because of the lifestyle, coming from a 9 to 5 and honestly just dreading having to, do the whole clock in, clock out thing. I saw that, being a software engineer allows you to, work when you want to work as long as you get the work done. Also, I mean, who doesn't love more money?
I like more money. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with you on those reasons. I think a lot of people who are engineers now started off for some of those same reasons. Me being one of those folks. So like, I definitely wanted a better life for myself. I needed more income. But also like for me, like I wanted like a higher ceiling, right? Like I'm someone that's like, at times when I'm motivated, I can be like high drive, very focused. And I want to put that towards something that's not going to block me because like, oh, you can't get that promotion or you're not allowed to do that. That's not your role. Whereas I feel like with engineering, having some skill set like that, like there's like an unlimited amount of things that you can do and get good at. So for me, that's kind of what it was. Thanks for watching till the end. Me and Kaelyn had so much fun answering these questions, but you know what would make it more fun? If we were actually answering questions from you all. So how about you find us on Twitter, our handles are in the description, and tweet us your questions so we can make another one and answer them for you on YouTube. And big thanks to Kaelyn for coming on the channel. I've been pushing this man to do more content, so let him know in the comments how much you love seeing him here on camera, because I think we want to see more of him, right? So yeah, big shout out to Kaelyn. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Speaking of Kaelyn getting into content, he actually has his own YouTube channel now where he's just getting started. And if you want to see more of this video, go check out his channel where we are answering even more questions. And like always, if you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified about all the cool stuff we're going to be doing in the future. And I know I say this every video, but we will be doing cool stuff in the future. So just like this video. So show some love. It really helps the channel. But until the next one, like always, peace.